What's your overarching goal with this game?
So I definitely want to get better with my wave mechanics and my macro in general. I feel like in
Wave
general,
mechanics or wave management?
management,
Got it. Okay.
and just getting better with being able to control the game a little bit more. As you'll see on my match history, super inconsistent.
When you're watching that, so you just watched me come off a game, right? Did you watch that
hmm
game?
I did, yeah.
Let's do a little trivia then. Because you want to understand wave management a bit better. Let's
hmm
mix it up and let's go to that game real quick. And I'm going to show you some of the choices that I made, and we'll talk about those. Okay. And then obviously we can apply some of these to Yasuo as well. Because Yasuo, as I'm
hmm
sure you know, is a pretty good lane bully.
hmm
Got really good pushing power. You know, he bumps into a couple rough matchups where he has to be respectful, but for the most part, if he establishes a push, he can push. Full disclosure, I'm going to give you all the little details about my gameplay recently so that you can kind
hmm
of see how it applies to your own stuff. But so basically, coming to Korea, I've had to play a more dynamic style. Like, there's just no way around it. I have to be way more fluid. It's not as simple as just, you know, get farm and carry. Okay, it's really not.
hmm
Now, in your elo, and not to sound like a douche, in your elo, it will work. That will work.
hmm
You can hit big farm, not die. You're probably going to be in a really good position to carry. Now, I just want to go over real quick some of these little details about wave management so you can kind of see how this is all working and some of the decisions that I'm making. And again, we can apply it to Yasuo in general.
hmm
So right away, when you go into lanes like an Ari lane, what do you normally do? Yasuo.
So for her, I normally want to get like the 3 stack and crash it into her.
Okay. So you try to get a 3 stack and crash.
hmm
So does this,
So like,
when you were watching this play out just now, and you see me doing this like shove and move stuff, is this something that you do on Yasuo often?
this is something that I try to do. I try to shove and be a little bit more fluid in the lane against her because uh, people have a really hard time with skill shots and stuff like that, especially in this elo.
Right.
So I'm trying to just not get hit as much as I can, keep my farm up, and get that under tower.
So the reason I'm using my champion as kind of like a demo here for your champion is because Tryndamere and Yasuo actually have quite a bit of similarities, if you believe it or not. They both struggle versus some of the bruiser matchups. The
Mhm.
Renekton's, the Pantheons. Obviously, Tryndamere fares a lot better because he has more sustain. But in general, you can bully a lot of the pool. A lot of the mages you can kind of like cancel out. You don't necessarily have sustain, but you have your shield and your wind wall, which is damn near sustain, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Mhm.
It is what it is. So what I'm showing you here is early game strategy is really, really important. And in the beginning of this game, I make a deliberate focus on getting information. I'm pretty sure like we limit test the fuck out of this early game. And you don't have to do anything crazy like this because this obviously doesn't work as well with Yasuo. But I want to point out the vision. I am really, especially now, I am really focused on making sure I know exactly where the enemy jungler starts and why.
Mhm.
Okay, so when you do this and you go into these lanes and you go and you start deciding like, oh, I'm gonna shove the wave and then roam. You need to be aware of where they started, what's going on over here, and what the prio situation looks like, right? And how you can leverage these types of shoves. As Yasuo, it's going to be plenty for you at your level to just, like I said, get big farm and scale. But if you can incorporate these types of things that you see me doing in my games into your games, it can be like devastating. Like you can just run games over. This is a perfect example because we do that 3-wave crash. We move and ping the action. I am not quiet. See? Pinging it. I want to invade. I want to fight. I'm watching as I invade. I want you to see this. we were talking about wave management. What's going to happen with mid right now because of this?
It's gonna rebound to your tower.
Right. So if you can get to this position where you're forcing action and you can keep yourself alive while being a part of the skirmish, if you can keep yourself alive or just get a good back after the fight, you basically win mid here. Like, I already knew that mid was won as long as I break even. I'm thinking about all this during the rotation. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Bonus points on this. Let's do a little more trivia, some little trivia quiz knowledge. Why did I not take that plant?
I guess if their bot collapses, you can E over the wall and get away.
No, so this is why I'm doing this. So think about the situation for a second. Is this a favorable situation for us or a non-favorable situation for us? And just so you know, Viego has no flash, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since you saw him use his flash earlier in that level 1, I imagine this is a better situation for you.
Right. And yes, I don't know where their bot lane is, but I do know that it's roughly equal. I know that my bot lane's rotating and I can't see theirs yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to get you to realize is that I want this kill, and if I hit that plant, Viego's just going to turn and run away, and the play dies.
Mm-hmm.
We are quizzing...
He sees you coming over that wall, he's going.
Right, so we're basically quizzing whether or not these players understand, because we were talking about wave management, right? This is a terrible situation for Viego. He should know, if he's paying attention, he should know that Tryndamere is closer than Ahri is right now.
Mm-hmm.
If he's been paying attention. This is why I deliberately do not show where I'm at by hitting that plant. Because that means that I tell the Viego that we're in a really powerful position. We want to disguise that position as long as possible so that when this collapse comes, he doesn't see it until the very last second. See? Now he goes, oh shit, watch his movement. See that? Because he saw me pop my nose out right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's too little too late. He has no flash, and I know where my Thresh is. I know where Ahri is, and I know that in this position, there's no getting out here for him. He is going to die here, right? Unless, I mean, he almost clutches out with this Nidalee kill that they get. They pick up a Nidalee kill. Very lucky. She moved like a god, though. She dodged behind the blue buff. But the reason I show you all this is because these types of situations... Again, it all hinges on the wave management because I'm risking very, very little to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the rest of the game, Ahri's now going to be behind. And it's really tough spot because she has to get that wave in. She's behind. Look at her XP. Our XP is almost identical.
Mm-hmm. And you're almost forcing her to overextend because she knows she has to get it under.
Right. And so I'm allowed to follow this kill and go for this. But you see, as soon as she gets out and I can't chase, I go right back to my wave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you do with the wave here?
I'm not gonna... Well, since she's probably gonna have to back, but... I don't know where... Well, I guess, yeah, you do know where Viego is, so I don't know if I would go crazy on autos or if I would just slow push it.
Okay.
But in my mind, I would probably just slow push it.
So...
Just last hit.
The reason we're shoving here... Let's talk about this. And this is why I'm doing this, because there was a bunch of wave management spots here in this particular game. And that it started with that one and then this one. So, in my opinion, the first thing you need to do here is hard shove and zone.
Mm-hmm.
Hard shove and zone. So that means we know that Ahri, like you said, either has to back or has to try to sneak back to the wave. So there's a big element of chess going on in this game. I hope you realize that. when it comes to wave management. So if you, like in this spot, look, you'll see the move happen. Hard shove and then zone. I see Ezreal here, but see how I'm zoning? This is deliberate again. Now in this case, I was a little skeptical about what happens if I try to like overzone. I also wasn't sure that she would actually come back. Right? Because like you said, it kind of made sense for her to actually base. But by all accounts, I could have stood here. You see it in the VOD. Right? I was just
you could have just planted yourself right there and
right.
waited.
This was a little bit more complicated though, because I didn't know the status of Viego, and I didn't really look where my jungler is.
Yeah, she's all the way in top lane.
But if I was truly a god, I would have stood right here, because I should have figured, well, I just based and Viego, you know, he's pretty weak here. Ari's low. Like, you see what I mean? I could have, if I was going to stand out here, I should have pushed a little bit forward and body language. Even if the intent, I'll put the epic pen up. Even if the intent is to just leave, I could just stand here and just throw a big question mark and do these little wiggles that I talk about all the time. And just block, like you said, plant your feet there and just wiggle around. If they look like they're collapsing, E this way. See, these are the types of moves. If you do them correctly, she would not got that XP just now. She just picked up that XP off that one minion. And guess what I could have done? I could have pushed her all the way around and then let the wave come back to me and start recalling in front of her if I want. And fake recall a bunch. All right, one more spot and we'll get to your game. Let's talk about this. You ever do this move before? This is a new one. Yeah.
Where you just hit either all the cannons or all the casters and then just let it go in.
So I want you to remember something about melee creeps in this game. So the melee creeps give more XP, okay? Always remember that. They're the bulk of your XP gain in League. I'm not sure the exact numbers. I can pull that up for you, but the point is that if you're going to roam, it's off, like say you want to make a quick roam somewhere and you don't want to be late to a fight, you're often going to want to do what I'm doing here, which is take the melees, then move down. This will mean that you're paying some XP, certainly, but not nearly as much to move. Not to mention they're easier to access. So just a quick, like, pop the melees and run is a really good way. So here, you'll see I don't even worry about losing the XP. You can see it. It's deliberate, right? I move to bottom. I make a bad rotation here. You see the misplay?
You could have walked up there. You would have caught him better.
Right. It's easier. Yeah, they clearly can kill him. So that's a misplay. So two big mistakes, actually. This is his own. Well, that's not as big a mistake, but this is a big mistake because now I have to use flash to kill. But I didn't have to use ult. But I wasted flash essentially by pathing like that. So actually, yeah, let's talk about this real quick. So there's all this track with you right now? The small wave backing here. Let's see if I do any more funky roams or any more funkiness real quick. Oh, another good wave management idea for you to think about. Now here, I was thinking about doing this move, but I didn't get to do it because Ari was doing a good job of pressuring me. I also came back to lane with kind of low HP, to be honest, because I just wanted to get back there fast. Another move that you should incorporate in your game is catching waves when your teammates die. So the reason that I was up there that close to begin with is because my Jace just died and I saw this coming in. So this is another thing that I want you to be cognizant of in your games is this. If your teammate dies and you can move and you can catch a bigger wave, you should do it. Because, remember, even though Yasuo can't spin over walls... Oh, well, they didn't have a blasting plant, but they have one here. So, like, you walk over blasting plant, walk over blasting plant to the left, and then you catch the XP here. Make sense?
Yep. Yeah, that does make... I actually was watching a coaching that you were doing the other day, and... top laner died and you were like, get your camera up there, you need to be looking at this, look at that fat wave, dude.
Right. I don't think there was any more big wave management spots here. Those are the main ones that I wanted to show you. Just some quick like rundown of the thought of like the early.